Just to be clear, I don't really care about the Speaker of the House drama, but I like anything that makes Stephen Colbert mad. All right, let's get started. Last week, Mike Johnson was elected Speaker of the House, and over his next several shows, Stephen Colbert collected the most upsetting clips he could find of the guy.
Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview.
Who would have a problem with that? Oh, yeah.
You know, being biblically faithful is not easy for a guy from Louisiana because now he has to give up shrimp, crab, oysters, and barbecued pork. And I'm sure he's going to miss his wife when she has to be cast out of town during the time of her blood, only to be allowed to return when she brings 2 turtle doves to the tabernacle for the priest to sacrifice.
Tabernacle, that's one of those old words. Har, har, har. Is this The Late Show or a 2007 atheist YouTube channel? Welcome to The Logic Show with Reason Colbert. Take a look at this loser. He likes the Bible. What, you want to outlaw sodomy because the flying spaghetti monster told you to?
Euphoric.
Well, Mr. Johnson, I just asked my calculator and it said God's not real.
Double euphoric.
The only difference between the two is that Stephen Colbert earns $16 million a year, though earns might be pushing it. But back to the point. Colbert trots out some commands in the Bible that Christians don't follow, the subtext being that, of course, we don't do that anymore. We're all good modernists. But the reason Christians don't do that stuff anymore isn't because we're good modernists, but because we're good Christians. Colbert might want to take Mike Johnson's advice.
Go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it.
Here's more.
Johnson is also extremely anti-LGBTQ, saying homosexual marriage is the dark harbinger of chaos and sexual anarchy that could doom even the strongest republic. If you're doing it right.
The Slippery Slope remains undefeated. Slippery Slope also the name of Stephen Colbert's favorite nightclub. He's also upset that in 2003, Johnson argued for keeping state laws against sodomy, and not just on the ground of states' rights, though I'm sure we could all agree that this should be addressed at the federal level. Johnson also fought in several efforts to stop the steal. Plus, he's an entertainer.
He does wonderful impersonations. If you haven't already, ask him to do a few of his impersonations.
Okay, I don't expect Mike Johnson to be the next Dana Carvey, but I bet he has a better Trump than this guy.
It's so easy. This room is full of so much love.
And no matter what you think of Johnson's beliefs, you can't argue with the green lines. So do I think Mike Johnson is the based Christian prince who is going to come bring a new era of Christian government? No. Johnson is just an ordinary Christian who now has considerable authority, and I'm happy about that. And he's way better than Colbert's pick for speaker. Colbert is also upset about this.
Johnson is so Bible-y, he helped get public funding for an organization called Answers in Genesis, which believes the earth is only 6,000 years old, so they could get public funding to build a theme park in Kentucky called the Ark Encounter, a life-size Noah's Ark museum.
The state can't fund that. The state should be funding religiously neutral education, like this.
He, him, she, her, they, them, these, let me know, which one do you prefer?
You may not agree with Ken Ham about dinosaurs, but 41% of Americans do. That doesn't mean it's true, but it does mean that this isn't some fringe cult guy. Quick story. Right now I'm working on narrating Doug Wilson's Refuting the New Atheists. It was written when New Atheism was hot, but as I'm reading, it's funny how over that stuff is. Just look at this picture of the 4 horsemen of the New Atheism. Sam Harris is the only one that still matters, and that's because he's rebranded himself as the guy who takes psychedelics and says this kind of stuff.
I mean, Hunter Biden, at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared.
Colbert's attacks on the Bible are stale, but he's grabbing anything he can to make fun of the normal guy. But he's a Christian, so he's more like a modern Rachel Held Evans. R.I.P. And it's all because a normal Christian guy became Speaker of the House. Many right-wing voters are tired of defending Donald Trump. They see him as a morally disqualified extremist. If only we could put up an old-school pre-2016 candidate, then the left would turn down the attacks because they wouldn't have the convenient Trump handles to grab onto. If we sacrifice Trump on top of the pyramid, maybe they won't be so mad at us. How about a traditional family man, a Christian who holds standard Republican positions? But this is how they treat that guy when he gets a modicum of power. Eventually, Colbert will go the way of the atheist YouTube channel. He still gets millions of views on YouTube, but trust me, that stuff doesn't last forever. Who even watches this stuff? It could be that most of his views come from right-wingers hate watching. Wait, am I propping up late night? Has the content machine turned Wade into one of those guys who responds to everything in legacy media? Is Wade pretending that late night is still relevant and thereby prolonging its relevance? Find out the thrilling answer on the next episode of